We have entered the third day of the war between Israel and Palestinians, and all the world leaders can ask is for each party to exercise restraint. Surely we can do more than that. They are angry at each other. They're killing each other. They're capable of killing each other. Even the Palestinians have turned into a fighting force like never before. So this conflict will escalate. And just picking up phones and asking the parties to this conflict to exercise restraint at a time like this is not going to work. There are deaths on both sides. Bodies are piling up. And the leaders in this conflict, when it comes to the Arabs and the Americans, are all so heavily involved on one side that they cannot possibly undertake any diplomatic activity to bring both the parties to a negotiating table. But there is one leader who's capable of doing that. Ilham Aliyev of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan enjoys a good relationship with Israel. Israel helped Azerbaijan fight the war in Nagorno-Karabakh and win it. They supplied defense-related technology to Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan fulfills more than 40% of the energy requirement of Israel. And after the Russian energy was sanctioned, Azerbaijan picked up the tab, and the percentage now is greater than 40%. In fact, Azerbaijan has the clout because not only does it have diplomatic relations with Israel, it also enjoys a good, cordial relationship with the Palestinian authorities. In March, when Azerbaijan opened its embassy in Israel, the foreign minister of Azerbaijan visited East Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and also made it a point to meet with Mahmoud Abbas by visiting him. This kind of balance really nobody else has. In fact, Azerbaijan can even utilize the clout it has over Israel to ask them to start supplying electricity to the Palestinian lands. Baku can be a place where both the parties can be brought and other leaders can join in, and the mediation of this conflict in such a way that this conflict ends and war does not break out between the Muslims and the Jews, between the Palestinians and the Israelis over and over again. And I have already said that the best solution to go forward is not the two-state solution in which one state will be beholden, the state of Palestine, to the state of Israel. Reaching them via air will mean you have to fly over the Israeli territory. And if something happens, if there is another flash point, if there is another conflict, Israel will close that airspace. Even through land, to reach them, you will have to go over Israeli land. And they can deny access. And the state of Palestine, which is born, will be poor. The state of Israel will be rich. And all the power that the state of Israel has over the state of Palestine in a two-state solution will be used over and over again to create warlike atmosphere. We cannot guarantee peace under these circumstances. So the best thing to do is to have the end of apartheid in Israel, to have a new constitution that gives constitutional guarantees to both the Palestinians and the Israelis, the Jews and the Muslims, that is. And such a state can be invited to be a part of GCC. The Jewish community and the state of Israel, by virtue of its very productive economy, can be a harbinger of progress and prosperity for the Palestinians, for the Muslims, for their children, for their future. And the Palestinians will bring with them a peaceful environment for Israel in which it can function free of security concerns that it has had for the last 75 years. If we don't do that, going forward, the two-state solution could backfire because the Palestinians will always look at it as something that was imposed on them, enforced on them by force, by the imperial power of Britain through the Balfour Declaration, and their land was snatched from them, because we must remember that the Israelis did not belong to that piece of land. They came from Europe and occupied it. The land belonged to the Palestinians. And the Palestinians will not forget that, especially if they cannot have a good life in the new state that is created for them through the two-state solution. They will forever be looking at the resources that Israel enjoys on a land that fundamentally belongs to them. So the best solution to go forward is the end of apartheid and the one-state solution in which the Jews and the Muslims live with each other with equal rights and help each other build up their economy, and the Middle East trades with such a state. And all the Asian African countries who have hitherto boycotted Israel start to trade with them. It is quite possible because both the Jews and the Muslims will be useful to each other in the new state. And when there is usefulness, economic usefulness, then people live happily with each other. They don't resent each other. That's it for now.